You see my face on the telly, you see my face on the you see my face on the telly.
You scream my name like I'm Jerry.
You see my face on the telly, you see my face on the telly, you see my face on the telly, you scream my name like I'm Jerry. I run the house like I'm Jerry. I run the house like I'm Jerry. I run the house like I'm Jerry. Got Mr. Tom on my
Hi everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of So Much to Talk About. I'm your host, Butterfly Mush. And today we are going to get into a couple of questions that were sent to the Whoracle. Also, I'm re-recording this because I didn't have a producer last time and I learned my lesson. But listen, it was the full moon and I was feeling really inspired to record, and I feel like I'm still under that full moon energy because I'm still feeling very inspired. And even though this isn't going to air until later, tonight we are under that full moon in Pisces energy. So my moon is in Pisces. If you don't understand what that means, that's okay. I'm going to have a whole episode explaining some basic astrology. But if you do know what that means, you know that I was heavily affected. I think all of us were. I think all of us were feeling it. I was having wild dreams. But I saged and I connected with that lady. She's sending me some messages and she said, "Bitch, you better go record an episode." That's what she said. I'm excited. This episode should be airing on my birthday, so that's even more exciting. And just regardless, it is now full on Libra season. Obviously, my favorite time of the year for very obvious reasons. But it's also the fall equinox and we're starting a new season. It's just like there's this feeling in the air of like new beginnings. I mean, kids just started school. The weather is changing. It's time to bring out those cute coats. You know, the whole deal. Oh, I need my iPad. Love. We're going to start with this is my Whoracle direct line. Like, you know how the mayor and the superheroes have like a direct line? This is the direct line to the Whoracle where you can reach me and I can answer your questions and give you advice. And I'm also prepared with my with my crystal ball. Here. I don't need this. This is what I needed the producer for the other night. Oh my God. I was over here trying to like pass these things to myself. How are you, producer / business manager?
All right.
You got your tea? I will be spilling some tea. Wait, where's the damn photo? Oh my goodness. I take a lot of pics. I had this ready last time. Here we go. Okay. The first question is actually right on topic to what we were just talking about, astrology and the moon and the zodiac sign. So the first question is where to get a good birth chart from. I have my absolute most favorite astrologer ever, Jakari. And I got a birth chart reading from her last year. Listen, this lady is so good. but because she's so good, she is booked and busy. So you have to book like months in advance. But when I tell you it's worth the wait, I booked my birth chart reading with her. It was a gift to myself for my birthday last year in September. And then the reading was like in December. It was worth the wait. And I think not subconsciously, but she's kind of part of the reason why I'm here today having this podcast, because of what was said to me in this reading and what was said to me in the reading, and in terms of like my destiny and the placements in my chart. And it just like all aligned. It was like, I need to put out a show. So I'm going to put her Instagram handle on here and you guys can check out her work. And I definitely recommend getting a reading from her. I recommend everyone get a reading, because a birth chart reading is like a map of your life. It's like a guiding. It guides you. I think everyone should get a birth chart reading at least once in their lives. Okay, next question. Building confidence. Question on how to build confidence. So my trick for confidence is kind of cheesy, but I promise you it works. So if you look at me, you probably think, if you know me now as an adult, you think like, oh, she's a very confident woman. Like she doesn't have any issues with her confidence or her self-esteem. But the truth of the matter is that I did when I was younger. And here's how I overcame. My cat just passed by to say hello. Here's how I kind of like started building my confidence early on. Here's a quick story, because start all over again. Building confidence. My trick is fake it till you make it. And here's why. I know it sounds cheesy, but you're not always going to feel really confident about yourself. And it just also depends on like the environment, who you're around, maybe what you're wearing or what you're doing that day. And so when you're not feeling super confident, fake the confidence and then it starts to flow. So here's a quick story on how I kind of accidentally discovered that. When I first moved to New York, I worked at this restaurant as a hostess, and I was 18, and I was very insecure about my legs. Gary just made a face. I was very insecure about my legs because I thought they were too skinny, and I thought I had chicken legs. Yes. You liked my legs. That was, but when I was 18, listen, who's not insecure when they're young and they're 18? Meanwhile, now I look back, I'm like, bitch, you were at your peak at 18. How are you insecure about your body? But, no, so I thought I had chicken legs and I was very insecure about them, and I used to never show my legs. So one day it was summer and I was working at the restaurant, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to wear this dress. It was like a, regular summer dress. But when I had to walk to the end of the restaurant to sit the people that was my job, I felt like every single person in the restaurant was staring at my legs. I just spit, by the way, staring at my legs. So I remember thinking like, oh my God, they're staring at my legs. This is so embarrassing. And I feel like they weren't staring at my legs. They were probably just staring at me. I probably looked great in the dress, and my insecurity was so big that it was blocking me from seeing that people were just admiring my dress. And I was in my head thinking like, oh my God, they're staring at my legs. They're chicken legs. They're making fun of me, and I was being very self-conscious. So then I figured, okay, if I'm like making this up in my head, my insecurity, I think I can make up the confidence in my head. So as the day went on, every time I had to bring people down to their table and walk through the entire restaurant and people were staring at me, I kept thinking like, They're not staring at my legs because they're ugly. They're staring at my legs because my legs are amazing. I have the best legs, and kind of was like lying to myself because I knew I didn't like my legs, but I was like, you have the best legs. You have the best legs. Just keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. I look back at that now and I'm like, wait, my legs never changed. And now my legs are like my best feature. So it's not like my thoughts changed my legs. They were always great legs. It's just, I was so insecure about it. But I learned that day that I can like psych myself out of the insecurity by just mentally telling myself, my legs are great. Don't worry about it. They're not looking at they love your legs. People are staring because your legs are amazing. And then I kind of did that with, with different parts of my body that I wasn't so happy with. I did that with my hair. And then I did that with my art too, because I was very insecure about my art at first. And I didn't think that anybody wanted to see or cared to see my art. And I would just like, sketch in my sketchbook and draw different, characters that I was like, I'm drawing this for me. Like, I don't think anyone else wants to see that. But little did I know. I mean, how crazy is it to think that I thought nobody wanted my artwork in their house when now everybody wants my artwork in their house. But it was all a matter of like building my confidence little by little by like tricking myself. It's almost like when you trick kids into thinking like veggies are candy or like veggies give you superpowers, because I do that with my kids. And it's just like little by little, I started like developing my confidence and feeling 100% satisfied with the person that I saw in the mirror. But at one point, I did have to look in the mirror and like really look at myself as if I was another person, because we tend to be really hard on ourselves. So kind of looking in the mirror like I'm a completely different person, like, oh, that girl is attractive. And then being nicer to myself. You got to be nicer to yourself. That's how you build confidence little by little. And then you're fucking unstoppable. Like, forget it. Then your confidence is going to be so big you can't even walk. You can't even walk through the door. Sometimes that happens to me. I'm like, what? Look at me. That's how you build confidence, guys. Take a page out of my book. Next question. I want to hear every opinion you have on fuckboys and how to roast and avoid them. Fuckboys. I don't think we should avoid them, because I think everybody has their like fuckboy stage, and you just kind of you get involved with these fuckboys and there's nothing you can do about it. And you kind of fall for their bullshit because you want to believe that they're genuinely interested in you and that they genuinely want to spend time with you. And that's just all part of growing up and learning about yourself and learning about yourself in relationships. And I think it's important to go through that phase, because then you kind of burn that phase out. And when you learn enough about yourself and you value yourself enough to know that the fuckboy is not worth it, you level up. It's just like a video game. Like, you kind of have to go through this shit, and then you're like, okay, now I'm like above them. And then once you level up, you don't even have to avoid them. Once you level up in your, I guess, like fuckboy, that you go from fuckboy tier to like real relationship guys tier, you're no longer going to attract the fuckboys. It's almost like you're invisible to them because you're no longer on their level. So they are like beneath you and you're invisible to them. But until you don't learn the things you need to learn about yourself and about yourself in relationships, you're going to keep attracting them, because it's like the universe is like sending you these lessons. I mean, you know it. Some of them stick around, guys. It's been 10 years. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, how to avoid them. You tell me how to avoid them. He's still here in my house. Yeah, you were. The pictures you used to post on your Instagram, on your Facebook to like get me riled up. That's some fuckboy shit. Yo, don't even get me started on these pictures. Like, Gary used to post pictures. Like, we were dating, so we were kind of on and off, but you would see other people or whatever, and he would know just what to post, and he would want to like get my attention so bad. He'd post half naked photos, shirtless, six pack, pants down to his knees, underwear model with like half naked models. I remember seeing that photo and being like, I'm never speaking to him again. He can like choke on a pencil. Like, I'm never speaking to him again, as I texted him, because that's how it is. That's how it is with fuckboys. You know what I mean? You just can't help yourself. But that's a stage you got to burn. Because if you don't burn that fuckboy stage, that leads me to my next question, which is, no, I'm going to go back on that. If you don't burn your fuckboy stage, you could potentially end up in other situations that you don't want to end up in. But also, how to roast fuckboys. Here's the best way to roast a fuckboy. Become a fuck girl. They are here and they only use you whenever they want to. Whenever they're interested, whenever they want to spend time, they answer whenever they want to. Do the same to them. Reply back whenever you want to hang out, whenever you want to hear from them. Do the same thing. I mean, this is what we're doing. We're using people so we can learn about ourselves and level up. Next question. Ways to get rid of a toxic as fuck dude. And here's where I was going with the previous question. Fuckboys can turn into toxic as fuck dudes that can then turn into toxic relationships. And that's just a whole other situation, because as much as toxic relationships can be fun sometimes, they can turn into abusive situations. But here's how I feel about toxic relationships. I think people get involved with toxic people, or they get into toxic relationships depending on where they're at in their lives, and they haven't like healed certain traumas or childhood issues, daddy issues, childhood traumas. And so they trauma bond with this person. So you meet this person that is intoxicating. They're toxic, but you don't know it yet. You ignore the red flags, and then you get involved with this person that is very intoxicating. And when you're hanging out with them, even if you know it's not good for whatever reason, it's almost like scratching an itch. It's just like, you shouldn't, you're fucking up your skin. You're about to like make yourself bleed, but it just feels so good. That's a toxic relationship. And I should know, I've had my fair share of those, but you can't stay in those relationships forever, because it's not healthy. It's not good for your self-esteem. And a lot of times people stay in these situations for a long time because it may, bring back things from your childhood, traumas from your childhood, where that type of like abuse or gaslighting or toxic situation is what you received as a child, and then you kind of interpret that as love. So when someone's really toxic, you're thinking like, oh my God, he must really love me because he's acting in this way. So it's all like tricking your mind into thinking that it's a relationship you should stay in, but it's actually not, and you should pay attention to the red flags and try and leave that situation. As hard as it may be, you have to be really strong. And I think everyone has their limit. Everyone reaches their limit and they say, you know what, that's it. Enough is enough. And I'm done. I'm done with this person. I'm walking away. And sometimes that happens, but it is really hard to walk away. Gary's laughing because he's like, was I a toxic person?
I was about to ask you, were you a toxic as fuck dude?
I was a toxic as fuck dude, I'm sure, many, many times. I mean, I'm pretty intoxicating. I do say so myself. Everybody has been a toxic as fuck dude and has been on the other end of the fuck boy. Everybody has, but with toxic relationships, it's so hard to leave them. It's easier to like go back to that person, answer their calls, fall for their bullshit, for their lies all over again. So you just have to kind of have really, really strong willpower and just say, I'm done. I'm walking away. I deserve better. And that's that. But you'll only come to that conclusion after you've learned, I guess, whatever it is you have to learn when you're in a relationship with this person. And you evolve, level up, one up, like the video games. Next question. How to deal with difficult or negative friends? This answer is going to be short and sweet because you don't have to deal with difficult or negative friends. And I think that if you already feel like, oh my God, this person is so difficult, or my friend that's always so negative or always complaining, you're already onto something, and you're already in a part of your life where you are tired of being around that low vibrational situation. No, there's no rule anywhere that says you have to deal with this person. Just, distance yourself from them. And I have learned to do that a lot in the last couple of years. I have a lot of friends. I'm a very social person, and I share many memories with many different people, but there are a lot of people that have been in my life for a really long time that I now choose to not be around all the time. I love them. I wish them well. They never did anything wrong to me, but I now consciously and actively choose to be around people that bring me joy, happiness, that make me feel better, that leave me feeling amazing after I hang out with them, that inspire me to create, to be a better person, to chase my goals. I don't want to be around somebody who leaves me feeling empty or leaves me feeling like drained. So I just make it a point to distance myself. And sometimes it's not just friends. Sometimes it can be family as well. And there's no rule that says you have to endure being around this person, even if you feel drained. You have to do what's best for you and be selfish and put yourself first and take care of your mental health and sanity before putting yourself in a situation where you're not feeling the best. Just cut these people out. I mean, I'm great at that. Just cut people out all the time. Left, right, and center. Where are the scissors? Next question. Any tips on forming a healthier relationship to money and abundance? I love this question because it is really important to have a healthy relationship to money and abundance, especially because in this society, we're kind of taught to be on this scarcity mindset. That's what the society makes us believe, that there's not enough for everybody and that only select few will make it to the top and reap all of the benefits. So we're constantly in this invisible rat race, pitting each other against each other for the select few, so that's what the society wants us to think. The society we live in today wants us to feel like that. And then we're constantly just like in competition with everybody. And I honestly do not think that way anymore. I think it's about building healthy habits. So it's training yourself to replace negative thoughts that you may have about abundance or about money. So, for example, for me in my career, I never think like, oh my God, there's only a select amount of women artists in New York who can make it big. And so I have to be one of them. I never think like that. I always feel like I'm in my own lane. Everybody else is in their own lane. There's so many amazing women artists in New York City doing amazing things. Anytime I see anyone that I'm a fan of their work doing something amazing, I think, wow, I can't wait to be doing that too. Because I always think there's enough for all of us. I just always envision that we're each in our own lane and we're all headed to where we want to go, and we're all going to get there. And when we get there, I imagine this like great Gatsby party where it's like abundance and overflowing of everything, of all of the things that we want to have are just like everywhere at this party, and everybody has all of the things that they want to have. So I don't ever feel like it's just like a select few and it's not enough for everybody. So I have to step on someone's shoes to get to that, to take their position, and I have to remove them from their position. I never think that. So that just leads me to every day think like, there's abundance all around me. Abundant love, abundant happiness, abundant food for my family, abundant, financial security, money to pay bills, to keep a roof over our head. Like I'm constantly just thinking positive thoughts as opposed to like, oh my God, I don't have enough money. I'm broke. I'm this, I'm that. And it's just like I think the thoughts you have are big indicators of like the reality that you build for yourself. So I never want to say, oh my God, I don't have any money. In fact, you should start by just training yourself to say, I make so much money. I'm making so much money. And even though at first it feels a little funny because you're like, bitch, you're lying. You're not making so much money. You're not making any money. You're fucking broke. And you're like lying to yourself about it. You're training your brain to have a positive thought when it comes to money as opposed to a negative one. And that is my little trick. I like to say money comes. It's my favorite affirmation. I just say it and feel it all the time. Money comes. And also I like to say there is enough for everyone. With whatever it is you want to think. There is enough success for everyone. There is enough love for everyone. There is enough friendship for everyone. You name it. It's all about training your mind to have positive thoughts. So if you catch yourself having a negative thought or being, kind of bummy on yourself about something or hard on yourself, stop that right there and cancel it out and change it to a positive thought. It's just like kumbaya. It's not all kumbaya, but if you make an effort, you're going to change most of your negative thoughts into positive thoughts. Okay, I really like this question. Using sexuality in your career, where to draw the line? Where to draw the line? That is a very thin and also blurry line, because if by career, perhaps you work in a corporate setting, I think it may be, frowned upon to use your sexuality in your career. But I do believe that in this day and age, us as women, we've worked so hard to prove to everybody that we can do everything men can do, that somewhere along the way we kind of forgot the things that are unique to us as women. And that includes, and it is a very big part, our sexuality. And we are constantly being policed. Our bodies, what we wear, how we wear it, why we wear it, what we do with our bodies are constantly being policed. So in a time like now, I think you should be unapologetic about your sexuality. And I think it's important to use your sexuality in your career. But I think there is no one way for us all. I think each woman has to flirt and play around with the idea of what their sexuality means to them and how they want to comfortably express that in a setting that, you know, maybe corporate, maybe professional. You definitely don't want to end up in HR. But I think you can explore what it means to you to use your sexuality, because you absolutely should use your sexuality, even though the female gender has been oppressed forever. I think it's a blessing to be a woman, and so I think you should use it to your advantage. There's no rules against that. I mean, yeah, there are. They're policing us all the time.
Similar to how to roast fuckboys? Be a fuckboy?
Be a fuckboy. I mean, I guess it is, but it's like, I think a woman's sexuality is part of their superpower. You know, it's part of what makes us so special. So like, imagine if we just decided like, oh my God, no, we're just like men, and we're going to go into the corporate world, and we're going to wear horse blinders, and we're going to wear these boxy suits, and we're going to forget all about our femininity. I think that is a shame, because our power as women comes from our femininity and comes from our sexuality. So why aren't we using it more? You know, I mean, that's also like, you're appealing to like my rebellious side. Whenever I feel like somebody is uncomfortable by my sexuality, the petty rebellious side in me comes out, and then I flaunt it more. I'm just very unapologetic about my sexuality, because I am sick and tired of living in the shadows of the patriarchy, who want to tell us what to do with our bodies all the goddamn time. And so in a time where women cannot even walk down the street alone without being harassed because of our sexuality, I find it more so now than ever super important to be unapologetic and in your face about the fact that we're women. We're owning our sexuality, and we're showing you who's fucking boss, who owns this body. I own this body, and I will wear, do, fuck, not fuck, however I fucking please, whoever I please, whenever, whatever outfits, all of it. You know, we have to kind of take a stand now or never. And our last question of the night: should I eat French toast at midnight? Gonna do it anyway. Abso-fucking-lutely, yes, you should eat French toast at midnight if that's what fucking tickles your fancy. It makes you feel happy and brings you joy for those 5 minutes. I am a firm believer in I forgot the word I was going to say. I'm such a firm believer in so many things that I forgot the word. I'm a firm believer in indulgence. I love to indulge. It brings me joy and happiness, and it makes every cell in my body feel alive. And I don't believe in restricting ourselves from that. That's one of life's greatest pleasure. So yes, you want the French toast at midnight, have the French toast at midnight. So with that, we close our segment of the Whoracle. I would love for you guys to send me more questions. You can reach me in my DMs on Instagram. You can send me a tweet. You can also send me an email, butterflymush@gmail.com. Or you can leave a comment on this video and ask for more advice. I'm so happy to answer more questions. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications because we will be having new episodes all the time. And happy birthday to me. It's my birthday month. I'll be celebrating all month, all season, Libra season. And I'll see you next episode. Bye. Turn it off. Turn it off.